Hello, this is Ralph Rio with ARC Advisor Group. In this interview with Subash Sakarikar, the Director and Global Head of the Automotive and Industrial Manufacturing Practice at Tata Consulting Services. We will review digital transformation for automotive and industrial manufacturing. Subash, now for the first question. How is manufacturing industry transforming itself, particularly with the pandemic?
Yeah, so thanks. I think when the pandemic started, the industry was impacted from both the sides. It was from the demand side as well as the supply side. The entire supply chain for various parts, components got disrupted. And that continued for some time. And then to address the pandemic and the priorities for medical equipment, a lot of manufacturers actually shifted their production facilities for making the masks, the equipment, etc., to help come over the pandemic. And post that, I think we are seeing the demand is picking up again. The plants are operational back. So it's kind of reinventing now. And the most important thing that happened in the industry was everybody became like a startup, right? So whether it is a good old company or a new company, the startup mindset started setting in. Okay, and then came the digital adoption, which has got much accelerated compared to what it used to be before. It's not that digital was new, but if all negative aside, if there is one thing positive that the pandemic has done, is to accelerate the digital adoption. So we see that all across the industry happening now.
Yeah, I hear a lot of flexibility, resilience, and adoption of at a very high rate of digital transformation. All good points. What are the new trends and technologies emerging in the manufacturing sector for digital transformation?
So in terms of new technologies, I think, as I mentioned, the digital adoption is definitely the big theme, whether it is the digitalization of the products themselves, which is in the form of the connected products, smarter products, the digitalization of the processes, whether it is engineering processes, for example, virtual design, virtual engineering, virtual validation, to the digital supply chain and the digital customer experience side. So that's entire value chain is undergoing the digital transformation in that sense. And I relate this to our biological neural ecosystem, right? So, for example, if we define our neural systems as the intelligent, as resilient, as self-healing, for example, right? And all these characteristics are now getting embedded in the manufacturing as well. So you have the cognitive supply chains, you have resilient supply chains in manufacturing, you have smarter products, you have self-healing products, for example. So this entire, the characteristics of a neural system is what we are calling it as a neural manufacturing. And all our solutions as well are coming out as neural automotive or neural industrial kind of solutions to adapt to the new way of thinking in this post-pandemic in particular.
Wow, neural networks! What a fantastic concept to bring to manufacturing. We have heard very good things about TCS's work with Business 4.0. How does it relate to the digital transformation you just spoke about?
Right. So Business 4.0 has been an overarching umbrella theme for the whole, not only manufacturing, but it is beyond at the industry level, right? It had, and the digital transformation is at the core of these. So we had defined that as the core 4 pillars of the Business 4.0, as we call them, as the cloud, intelligent, agile, and automated, right? If you see it, all the digital transformations, these 4 pillars are still the most prominent for anything. And whatever it is giving rise to, it is not only the transformation of the enterprise and the products, but also the evolution of an entire ecosystem, which is digitally connected. And today we are talking about the transformation in products and services, that are enabled through the entire ecosystem partnerships. So it's not just within the organization, and that's get enabled by the ecosystem play through these digital forces.
Wow, thank you. In your practice, you have been part of many transformations. What are the leading examples and some of the learnings?
So I would say the examples have been across the value chain. We have seen in the products getting transformed. So we are working a lot on the connected products space today, designing the connected autonomous cars, the electrification of not only the vehicles, but also the equipment in the industrial equipment side as well. A lot of the transformational work is also going on the customer front end. The evolution of reaching out to the customers directly, because in the manufacturing segment, there has been traditionally the tiers of the supplies that goes to the customer. So you have the OEMs, then you have the dealerships or the distributors channels, and then the products finally reaches out to the customers. Now that is transforming because the manufacturers are also directly reaching out to the end customers, right? Whether it is sales, service needs, installations, whatever. So we are working on a lot of concepts in the marketplace, which is an interactive place for directly OEM to the end customer connect. And also the kind of physical dealerships as we define them, which is a combination of the digital technologies on the physical dealerships, because the footfalls have come down substantially post-pandemic now. And in order to accelerate that, we got to adopt the digital technologies on the physical dealerships. So we define that as a phygital dealerships, and its concept is growing quite rapidly across the board, actually, not only in automotive, but also in the industrial segment.
Yeah, I like a lot what you said about concentrating on value and bringing in the customer needs. In my experience, there's been a tendency to focus on optimizing internal processes without considering the value of the customer. And that's why we do what we do, is to satisfy customers. And I'm glad to see that you're bringing that in. Excellent.
And I think the one thing that the core fundamental as the learnings that we also had to answer the first question is the simplification before digitalization is the key. So when we just don't have to digitalize the processes that we have been carrying forward, simplify it and then automate it and digitalize it. I think that's been the learning. And of course, the change management is a very, very big piece of it to adopt, not only because it's the whole, not only organization change, it's an ecosystem change to adapt to the new ways. The good side is that this is happening much faster, and we don't find that resistance to digitalization as much as we have seen in the past. So people are open to it.
Yeah, like you said earlier, we've been doing a lot more transformation in the past 9 months or so than we did in 5 years easily. Yeah. For the next question, how has TCS supported its customers, employees, and partners during this pandemic?
Right. So I think like everybody else, it did hit us really in a big way. And particularly when there were immediate shutdowns of our large centers back in India and also here in the States. With no much notice, everything pretty much came to a halt. But good part of it is we were already operating in a model called GNDM, the Global Network Delivery Model. And we shifted that to a new model to address the current needs, which is SBWS, which is Secure Borderless Workspaces. So, we have a very large workforce of 400,000 employees who are serving close to 2,500 customers. And at any given point of time, 25,000 plus projects are on, right? So, but the positive part was that none of it was impacted. Right, everything was intact. In fact, it got accelerated because people saved time in transit, coming to the offices, long hours of 2 hours, 3 hours of driving. And we suddenly realized that, hey, this is the way to go forward, much more productive. we shifted to this new SBWS model very promptly, and we did not find a single project to go falter because of pandemic. Okay. On the employees front, it was very well taken care of. I think both not only the emotional support, but also the technological support that is required to the work from home or work from hotel or work from anywhere culture that is coming up now. So we enabled that through this SBWS. We had lowest attrition in the industry even during this pandemic time. And now the things are bouncing back. We all have adopted to the new way of working. And I see even the ARC adopted the new way of this conference that I'm seeing. So it's great to hear the world changing so fast.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. We've been speaking with Subash Sakorikar of TCS. This video was created by ARC Advisor Group. We advise industrial suppliers and manufacturers on technology trends and market dynamics that affect their business operations and competitiveness. Our website is www.arcweb.com. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Ralph. Thank you.